welcome back to the last part of the squat series, you guys. Today we'll be looking at what I like to do to help kind of increase my strength in my squat, and then some mobility things, as well as just some little techniques that I like to use. First off, let's go with some accessory lifts. I've kind of already talked about it before. My main kind of few are the Bulgarian split squat, so putting your foot up on an object here, one-legged, so you're getting a lot of unilateral work, and control down. You get a lot of depth with that single leg, as well as just building a lot of strength. If you can guys build a lot of unilateral strength, it will correspond over to your strength in the regular squat. I've heard people do only like single leg work, and then when they went back to their squat, they PR'd without actually having squatting in a while. So that's definitely one of my favorites. Building more lateral strength, either a lateral lunge, or if you have mobility, it's like a lateral lunge with maybe a barbell on your back or a weight here, or a Cossack squat, which would be all the way down, depending on what your guys' mobility is. Obviously, if you can get down to that range, you're building a lot more strength in those end ranges of motion, which will be beneficial for your squat, especially when you're down at the very bottom of it. Last thing that I really like to do is tempo squats, focusing on the eccentric, and then even pauses. So what an eccentric or a tempo squat is going to look like is maybe 4 seconds down, 4 seconds in the hole, and then power up. So it could go down, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold that, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can either go up for 4 or just power up. Either one, just kind of, the tempos can vary, guys. And another aspect that I like to do with that is just practicing breathing in the hole. So really loading up the weight, getting down, practicing breathing in this bottom position. One, if you spend time in your weakest position, that position will get stronger. And then also, if you guys can breathe in a position, you're really going to own that position and really feel strong and control in it. If you ever get into a position you feel like you're out of breath, it's because you're not able to breathe, you're not comfortable, you don't really have control over that position. So that's one of my favorite things to work on. You can increase the weight pretty heavy as long as you're able to get out of it. So start light, go down, start with maybe 20-second holds, come up, increase the weight a little bit, just increase slowly because you don't want to get stuck at the bottom. If you do, you can just kind of drop the weight off back. But ideally, you want to be able to come back up. With mobility, to improve the squat, that's going to vary depending on everyone. The main two areas that I like to cover are the ankles and the hips. I find that most people are limited in the ankles the most, so we'll kind of cover those first and then hit the hips a little bit. One of the ones that I personally like a little combo to do is say, we'll do like a runner's calf stretch, or even with the bent knee, so you get more of your soleus muscle with the bent knee. Holding this for about a minute or so. After you're done holding that for a minute, you should feel a stretch kind of in the back of the leg. I like to do what we call passive range holds for the ankle. So that's going to involve pushing into the motion as far as you can. And you can hold it here, get a little stretch. This motion is directly going to cover over to your squat as well. So go as far as you can, feel that stretch. Then I want you to use your anterior tibial muscles, the front of your shin. Try to bring your toes closer to your shin. You're not going to be able to do that in this position. But you'll try that, and then as you go back, you should be trying to keep it up so it comes off the floor. Hold it, go back in, stretch, and as you come back, you're essentially trying to keep it as close to your shin as possible while you're coming back. So you're getting that passive stretch here, and then as you go back, you're getting that active control of it as well. So that's one of my favorite ones to do for the ankle, and then I like to usually incorporate some mobility into it, which I'll usually do maybe like a ankle or a knee loaded lunge. So this is where you're in this lunge position, but you're pushing, driving the knee forward. Really work on your quads as well. Where you're driving the knee forward versus a regular lunge would be like that. Or like a Cossack squat, like we talked about earlier. The Cossack squat right here is going to work on a lot of that ankle motion to get down in this position. For the hips, though, I find a lot of people are most limited in hip rotation. So if you guys haven't already seen my video on why the hip 90-90 position is important, I would check that video out. So that's one of my go-to, at least for people first starting out, is to improve this position. And then over time you can do all kinds of different things with this position. You can work on your hip internal rotation. We can work on some eccentric control. So there's all kinds of different things you can do. But to start off, try to be comfortable in this position. If this is painful or you feel like you're all contorted to get in this position, you can lean back on your hands. And then we can do our dynamic rotations. We can lean back on our hands like this, or ideally, we can be up in this position, coming forward and back. This front leg is always going to be working on external rotation. This back leg is going to be more internal rotation. So this is just kind of an all-in-one great exercise to work on. You also get to work on that hip flexion, or we like a bear position here, and then rotating over. I have a lot of different mobility drills with the hips, especially in this position that you can do. I'll give you guys two of my favorites to add on to this position. The first is an ER opener. So we're going to be here, and then you're just trying to open up this leg as much as you can while keeping this knee on the floor still. And then back down. Trying to stay nice and upright. All right, guys, if we're way back here, this knee would just fly open. So nice and upright. Working on that. That's going to be for external rotation. For internal rotation, one of my favorites, you can either be in this position, or if this position is a little too difficult, so ideally we're just coming here, lifting up. Like I said, if it's too difficult, we can lean to the side. That'll make it a bit easier. But all you're trying to do is get just a little bit off the floor. So even if it's just that much. We're just working on the active motion. So really just picking up here. If you're doing a lot of this, guys, you may find yourself really sore in here from using all these tiny rotation muscles that you're not used to. But it'll definitely help improve your mobility for your squat and then your squat strength in the bottom of the hole. You hear a lot of people say they feel much more stable and strong in the bottom position after doing some of this stuff for a while. So definitely work on it, guys. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Check out the rest of my page. I also have a squat mobility program that's out. Runs for like 12 weeks long, and works on a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, guys, that will really help to improve your squat and just give you guys a better overall idea of how to move and improve all your joints of your body. I'll put a link in the bio below, so if you guys want to check it out, go take a look at that. I'll even add a little discount. Just use the coupon code YouTube, and it'll give you guys a little discount for it as well. Make sure you guys subscribe, and we'll see you next time.